I'm not one of the climate scientists. I am a scientist who has taught climate change at university for a long, long time. And if we'd have been sitting here 10,000 years ago, we'd have been on the edge of a large ice sheet. The Romans were growing grapes in York. We then had a little ice age, which lasted into 1840.
As a scientist,
no, it's not completely irrelevant, because if you look at
George
the
Monbiot,
hockey stick model...
The idea that we have been through ice ages before, we've been through hot times and the rest of it, what is to say that we're not simply going through another cycle?
Well, we are going through a new cycle of climate change, but in this case it's caused by enhanced greenhouse effect caused by emissions of carbon dioxide and other gases. And the scientific consensus that is the case is as strong as the consensus that smoking causes lung cancer, as strong as the consensus that HIV causes AIDS. To deny it, you have literally to ignore a mountain range of evidence and pick up instead a tiny crumb of data which then disintegrates in your hand because it turns out to be false. And to do that while calling yourself a scientist suggests to me that actually, David, you are going way beyond the region here of fair comment, and you are quite deliberately using false data and treading into the region of scientific fraud.
David Bellamy, what would change your mind?
Some real data about rises in temperature. You've got a 0.6 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. My paper, or my article to the New Scientist, actually said, hooray, it's working. 0.6 degree rise is evaporating billions of tons of water. And when that water falls on the tops of glaciers and things, they are growing.
But they're not. They're not growing. There is no evidence that they are growing. The only evidence you could come up with falsified data.
Well, then I will go back. You have spent 3 weeks, you tell me, going through all this data. I don't have access to those.
Well,
I will look. Now,
shouldn't you have gone through it before you published it?
Shouldn't I have gone through that data?
Shouldn't
I went to a whole series of websites, and
you went to a website published by a convicted fraudster, and that's where you got your material from. Should you not have checked your sources?
Thank you very much for telling me that, George.
But shouldn't you have known that before you published?
If you go to the website, there's lots and lots and lots of data out there flying about, and you're lucky you sit there and you are paid to write articles in the thing to say, you know, to find all this data out. I am not.
I'm wondering whether perhaps it might be a good idea to make another date and come back and resume the conversation.
I'd be delighted.
What should we say? Well, 6 months' time?
I would love George to actually persuade me, because it would make my life a lot easier. And then I could actually join him and fight against Winfarm, because he actually said in the New Scientist that they are...
I think we're wandering out into another...
No, we are not.
He
actually said that they are useless and they will not stop.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do.
So
we'll try to pick up on the traffic between you on our website. We'll run a link and see what happens. And if you're good enough, we'll have you back again at a later stage and see whether we can get any further.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful to you, David Bellamy, and to George Monbiot for coming in. You're watching Channel 4 News, 7:30. Our main headlines tonight.